Malachi, kick it off, sir.
Yes, good night, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the conversation. Of course, the views, topics, and stuff that comes from the host and presenters, and of course, people who are participating does not reflect that of the management and of Majestic Music Radio. That's just our little disclaimer to ensure that you understand that the conversation is a separate entity than the radio station. So don't some for some people who may take it personally, don't fault the radio station for that. That will be strictly on us. Right. So this evening, of course, we got the panel, Martain, Al-Ameen, Selecta, Sherwin. And tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about IP. We want to delve a little bit more into the issue of IP, get a little bit more direct, because on Friday last, there was a forum at the University of Guyana, hosted by the University of Guyana and um, the American Embassy, um, specifically dealing with the issue of IP from its policy directive standpoint. Um, what are some of the things that are needed to help to foster or to build that capacity and development in that particular area? So myself and Martain were lucky to be part of that meeting, and I do like to say a big good night to Paloma Mohammed, Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, and of course to all those people who reached out to us to let us know that this was happening and that we needed and were invited to be there to participate in it. It was quite an eye-opening refresher, I should say, like a refresher course for me, because I'm constantly reading up on the issue of IP or intellectual property right laws. When this team came in from the U.S. Embassy and decided that they were going to also bring that issue up with the policymakers, because the team as well visited the AG, the Attorney General of Guyana, to deal with the same issue of, this is what we need to really look at, the issue of IP and how it's really going to affect Guyana moving forward as a growing economy.
Yeah, we lost Malachi. Then we.
No, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh, what?
One second.
All right, so picking up from where Malachi left off, as he
Go
mentioned,
ahead.
we did attend the seminar, and it was one very informative, whereby we, as being movers and shakers within the music industry, right, we're able to now collectively learn directly from the people who we needed to be having conversations with. Obviously, half of that conversation level need to be had with the local government, right, of Guyana.
The
But
legislature.
correct, since we got to take it in steps, because obviously we need the electoral body from overseas, which the U.S. Embassy, facilitated that for us, right?
Mhm.
They were able now to disseminate information to our population, right? To our level of people who's interested in intellectual property directly, right?
Yeah.
And they also had follow-up meetings with the actual attorney general for Guyana, who will then sit down, I guess, with these bodies and actually put things into place, as we just say, pen to paper, and
Yeah.
get the ball going, right?
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we could all have these conversations, right?
Yeah.
Everybody could talk and scream, especially the artists, them, how we need the IP laws or we don't need the IP laws, whatever your preference is. But
Yeah.
we could have these conversations constantly and so often, But without the right people in place, we ain't really making no sense. You understand? And I think now we actually have the eyes and the ears of the local government, right? We have the eyes and the ears of the international bodies, the persons who's actually in charge, directly working with the U.S. Trademark Patent Office, with
Yeah.
the U.S. Copyright Office, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we a step closer, right? We almost at the door. At this point, once Guyana government understands exactly what they have to do, obviously we have to keep the conversation going, whereby we're informing the population of where we're at and what is needed still.
Yep.
I
Yep.
do think that meeting that we had last Friday was one that, like I said, is very informative, because
Yep.
a lot of people who needed to be there was actually there,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And
right?
one of the things
So
that was pointed out.
we're definitely making change.
Yeah, one of the
Mhm.
things that was pointed out that was, I mean, it's something that is a mantra of ours regarding, understanding the development of the industry is education. And the lady from French Guyana,
Correct.
the attaché, was right in pointing out the fact that, listen, one of the first stages to this is to educate as much as possible, because without that level of education, people would not understand their rights. So in order to understand their rights, they would have to be educated to understand how your rights benefit you in that creative sphere or in that creative market.
Yeah.
So and in that education, it allows you to understand what you need to lobby for
Mhm.
and what you need to advocate for, to improve your environment, your let's say your enabling environment, to ensure that your creativity blossoms in that environment.
So in this meeting, was there any uh, place in the sense of informing how moving on or moving forward, um, folks can actually naturally from the outside can naturally go and get educated about intellectual property rights?
Well, what is going to be happening, I think, in the near future, there are going to be a couple of outreach programs
Okay.
to kind of bring different sectors of the creatives together: writers, photographers, videographers, filmmakers, all of that. They're going to be individual meetings to kind of bring them up to scratch on what their rights are and what they need to advocate for. From that, we can then formulate a body that can represent the creatives overall. And we've already had a couple of lawyers reach out to us um, in that direction. That, listen, we'd like to get on with you know formulating the legal aspects or the legalities of how we formulate this grouping, because
Well,
I hear a lot of people talking about groupings and stuff
right.
like that, but they're not taking it from the standpoint of how are we setting the foundation basically for the movement to go forward. We can't put the cart before the horse, and this is something that we always talk about when we are making reference to certain things that happen in Guyana. We
Yeah.
have to stop that approach and learn that, okay, we got to do it from the foundation. And really, the foundation of it begins from the legislative that's supposed to be there to ensure that there is one an enabling environment and our protection. And I'll give you an example of why I'm talking about this. Now, Martin and I know of, for example, when we talk about geographical markers and stuff like that, we know, and based on experience, that you know Guyana at in years gone by lost a case with a particular name because, in my estimation, they did not have proper representation internationally, right? Because when it comes to that particular IP
Correct.
law, where we lost the name Demerara, for example, right? we couldn't lose the name Demerara because it's a region or an area, specifically a geographical area in Guyana, which is called the Demerara, right? So it's part of our country. So no one person can then arbitrarily go
Own
out
that.
and own that, right? I think that's one of the things that our government need to go back to the drawing board with that and get the proper
Most
lawyers
definitely.
to review that case, because that's not a case that you
You see,
lose.
the thing is too, Malachi.
Yeah,
The thing is too, Malachi. We would have recently learned about these things, well, as in a couple years, right?
yeah,
But when, as we know, the government wasn't paying attention to IEP laws in general. That
correct.
means we had a big lag, and we still have a lag, right, in everything IEP, because we're moving forward with agriculture, we're moving forward with infrastructure development and everything else,
Yeah,
but we're not moving forward with the laws to backbone these infrastructure, like the spine and thing that you need most of all,
like
right?
we
So,
need to have a functioning human human resource capacity to deal with the changing environment that we're changing.
Well, the thing
yes,
is changes and it's happening so well. So at the same time, you want to make sure you have full protection because all that you're doing it might just be like in a place where it might or can be taken away from you easily for all that you work hard for.
well, that is exactly what happened to the government. And when I
Correct.
say the government, I mean Guyana,
Mhm.
because
Hmm.
Guyana would have birthed certain names, right? But once somebody with a brain like me on and Malachi on gonna come and say, "Hey, this is an idea," and we actually did this just of last year, whereby I asked the lawyer, and this was based on the experience that we are mentioning also. I asked the lawyer, "Hey, now if this could happen, can I personally come and pick up Kaichur? Can I come and pick up Essequibo? Can I come and pick up all of these things that people is claiming, Buxton
Yeah.
and all these nice villages, right? Because if I, as an individual, come and wholesale lift up these names, then I solely have the rights to them. So
To use
anybody
them.
around Guyana is now using anything Buxton, Pleasant, whatever. I could then honestly turn back and sue Eddie Grant for naming he album Pleasant and these sort of things. You understand me?
Yeah,
So the IP works in a very tricky way. Go ahead,
yeah.
Malachi.
No, no. I'm glad you kind of brought
Yeah,
that up, because this is why we are saying that there is no way that we could have possibly lost Demerara, regardless
correct.
of whatever. Somebody could possibly. The only argument I see with that particular case is that they could say the Demerara they're using is strictly for one product and one product alone. All right.
Correct. For the services aspect of things.
Exactly, which would be for that product on the shelf. Outside of that, in other words, they can have limited rights to the use of the word Demerara, in my estimation, right? And this is something that we definitely have
But
to go
then
in depth
no, no,
with a few
Malachi, you gotta
lawyers.
watch it. Correct. Because I was going to say you gotta watch it also with having rights to that, because no person, I believe, in my estimation, no person should actually have any rights. Right? That right
Uh-huh.
should belong to directly the government and the government only. Right?
Yeah.
That should belong to the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Certain names, certain
Mm.
slogans, certain things of Guyana, they should have already capitalized on it. And this is for the government for
Protected it.
sleeping
Yeah,
on
yeah,
yourself.
and protected it, right? Because once that protection is there, you can't have
Correct.
any willy nilly
Now you got
person
somebody
in.
like me with a working brain who could look wholesale, go and pick up Kaichur and then turn back and sue everybody for Kaichur.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Right?
once it goes
Even Essequibo, which
international,
is the talk of the tongue.
yeah,
Because imagine me from a
Just
standpoint
give us a valuable
come in and
name.
pick up Essie Crebo. That's what I'm saying. Because I could allow Maduro for, hey, yeah, Maduro, come and get it. Let the country go to war. As soon as he hits her, I hit you with the IP trademark thing. Because now I own the name. You own the land. I want my name. You understand me? So you gonna pay me for going in me country and taking me name. That is how IP law works.
Well, that's in
It's
keeping
right,
that
man.
Maduro. That's in
So,
keeping that, he got some he got some sanity that he can respect that, because if he's not respecting
oh, well,
international treaties right now, he's not going to respect anything else later down.
there's the thing, my G. I pretty sure me and he brain is function almost the same. And just so we aggressive, I'm more aggressive for me own thing. He aggressive for me thing, I'm more aggressive for me own thing. Remember when I doing these things, it's for legacy. You understand? See, you ain't gonna come and
Right.
take on what is me generational wealth covering. You understand me? It's like coming in me bed and pulling out me blanket, pulling out me pillow, and everything just left me on the bare mattress. Or even taking me mattress. It
Yeah.
no makes sense.
Okay,
And that is
then
exactly what happened to Guyana years ago.
Yeah.
what can we say, or how can we encourage the public to get into the lane of understanding, being fully educated, and how should they go about procedures, I should say, after these things would have been coming into place. What procedures that you think they should take as business women, as small entrepreneur, as entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, or small businesses? What you guys pick up?
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, Sherwin, for all creators or all Guyanese over across the board, right? Let's start with the artists them. Each and every one of the artists currently have a music tag attached to them, right? Whether it be Martin Al-Ameen Music or Martin Al-Ameen Studios or Martin Al-Ameen Records, you have something attached to you as an artist, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
it's your job to go and protect that in Guyana, in America, in the UK, and in every other territory that you may travel to. Because
Or sell your
while
music to.
correct, while you protect it in Guyana, it is only covered in Guyana because of the jurisdictional aspect of things, right? So you have to then spread that out across the nation, across the continents. That way you're fully covered and protected. Most times you can't really do all of that. It's too expensive. You might not reach all of them things. But the laws are also kind of bent in a way whereby, let's say you're doing merchandise, right? I always rack my own merchandise. As you see, I everything plain right now. But the event that I put on something, high rollers here, just like how I have my chains and my rings and so on. The event that anybody else do jewelry with these logos on it, they're infringing on my IP, right?
Mm-hmm.
When
Yep.
I put on the high rollers on my hat, when I put on the high rollers on my pants, my shirt, my boots, my socks, I do that for a very specific reason. When I put it on a bottle or a cup, I do that for a specific reason. Right now, I could customize a bottle of water, right, with my high rollers label because that is my brand. But in
Well,
the event that anybody tap into the jewelry for high rollers, the merchandise for high rollers, the food and beverage for high rollers, the entertainment aspect for high rollers, you infringing on my IP because I now own these trademarks,
of
right?
course.
Now, let's say you're going into the industrial aspect whereby you're manufacturing something, right? Or you're creating a patent. If I didn't register the high rollers patent and there got to be something I creating, then I could lose it because I didn't force register it.
Correct.
Yes, right. So
Correct.
that is
Yeah.
the importance of being the first person to register, the first person to show use.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're able to do that, you're then able to cover yourself extra with your blanket.
Yep. 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 Oh, guys, there's also been a rumor going around. Well, I know it's not a
Mhm.
rumor, but it's kind of like a whisper in the background. A lot of Guyanese, a few Guyanese producers and artists have realized that they have worked with individuals, and then they find their music a couple months after, not the same song, but their pattern and their style in somebody else's song, and it getting released out there. You understand? But
Yep.
one
And
of the
you now
things,
make no money. Why you ain't make no money is the issue.
but let's dive into that issue because we all know. You remember the guy from Sophia that made the voiceover that says, "Hold your purse, hold your wallet, the Mali team outside." You remember that slang that came out during the time
Yes,
when
sir.
Skeng came to Guyana? No, check this out. Do you know that Skeng uses that clip that the youngster
On,
put out to open up every show that he got,
yep.
right? And
Yep.
the
I've been following that.
right, and the youngster don't make how much money he's make off it.
Nothing currently, I would imagine.
What does he benefit from his intellectual
This
property?
is coming back to the importance of covering yourself, right?
Exactly.
This young man would have dropped this, and that wasn't even related to the skeng stuff.
No, it was
Yes,
just
it did
something.
relate to the event that took place and so on, right? But
Yeah.
it meshed perfectly in Skeng's new song that he was getting ready to release. That as an intro just fit perfect. He just hit his biggest show ever, right? You
Yeah.
can't deny it. One of his biggest show ever coming out of Guyana, right?
Yeah.
He just brand himself in Trinidad, so releasing them type of song, representing that community of people. It
Yeah.
was perfect. And that man just give him a gold mine or even a platinum selling tag. Because that's what it is. It's a tag.
It's a tag.
Yeah.
Now, you
Yeah.
also got to remember, Malachi, because of the length of it, there's not much to claim. But there is parts of it to claim in total.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So these are some of the things we as Guyanese need to remember. These are some of the things we as creators need to remember. Every single Guyanese creates something at the end of the day.
So
Right?
what really was the importance of holding this conference or this kind of little workshop together with the American Embassy from UG? Does what is really
Actually, they're what they were doing is attempting to broaden the scope because what the university is doing and what they have said to us is that they have 1,000 individuals, which would be across different spectrums of education that are involved in understanding the issue of IP and the way it affects industry, commerce from different sectors of society. That's what's happening. But for us, if you got 1,000 individuals out there already, right? We're thinking in our heads, well, we should have a formulation of a body because we have so many brilliant professors which we met
right?
at the university who are teaching about IP and entrepreneurship, which kind of go hand in hand
Yeah.
as somebody on the ground. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be a maverick in the thing, you gotta understand the spectrums, right? So those are some of the things that are happening. But I am hoping because I mean, again, it all depends on the political will because you're gonna have to invest money to educate the population about these things. You're gonna have to bring in experts to be
Right.
on the ground to show and to demonstrate. You have to bring expert lawyers from out of Guyana because based on our knowledge, we know we can maybe find 2 entertainment lawyers and 2 intellectual property right lawyers in Guyana. We don't know about much more than
Yes.
right?
Which we need to clarify, Malachi.
Yeah.
When you say entertainment lawyer and IP lawyer, those are very two different things,
Yeah,
right?
those are 2 different
Because
things.
an IP lawyer pretty much deals with the backbone of the structure of the business, right?
Correct.
Now, the entertainment lawyer deals with the arms and the legs aspect of things, right? The contractual aspect whereby
Contracts, yeah.
the
Contracts,
collaboration and these
riders,
are the things.
collaborations, all those things. Sync
So,
rights if possible, all those things.
yes, it is important to note as creators, as Guyanese, that we barely have entertainment lawyers, much less IP lawyers,
Be a lawyer.
right? Which, like I said, is very two different things. Is that is in the same field, but
It's the
it's
same
two
field.
different scope of studies that
Two
each
specialized
individual
areas. Two
need to
specialized
pay
areas.
attention to.
Yep.
Right? So as an artist, yeah, it's good to have an entertainment lawyer. But when it comes to trademarks and patents and copyright, you need an IP lawyer.
Correct.
One could be in the same because, you know, we got some smart people in Guyana and a lot of people come out with a lot of CXCs. So one person could study both area, but it can take them some time and some good brain food.
All right, so a good question that I want to ask, right? Because, you know, if you're updating or if Guyana do update intellectual property rights, okay, and it's in connection with what the standards from America or the US, can a name that the US is already patterned be used in Guyana, even though it's a different country?
If it's not registered in this region,
Yes, it can.
it once we enter the international database, or we enter international trade and commerce, we can't have duplications. It's not going to happen.
So there's no way that somebody has a name that, because I know about this. The thing is about pattern, right? When you actually is trying to pattern a name or an image, you actually have to use a lawyer, and then the lawyer has to send in your patterns, send in all the documents of why you want this, and what is it for, what is it representing, etc., etc. All right. When you send that in, it has to go to the board, which circulates, and then eventually it is what it is actually, um you actually publish it so that other owners can see. Then you have to figure if it comes back clear after a period of time, then you actually can say that, yeah, it's cleared for you to say that you need it. You can pay for that, right? But if it's not cleared, sometimes just the sound of the name, or sometimes just the similarities of different things, they can say, no, you can't use this. You can't use this. You have to find another name. Somebody's
That
already
that
tried.
that you're talking about when logos or when names are too close.
Correct. So
Let's
that's
say
why I'm saying,
they just there's a minor adjustment in the spelling.
right,
For example, it's really too close. It has the same name. In other
right,
words, it's kind of infringing on somebody else's trade dress.
right. So,
Yeah.
like, if we say, let's put it like this. So, if we say Strand Cinema, but they got Strand Cinema in the US, the logos are different, and also it's a different country. Then we actually cannot use that name because it will be infringing on the other name.
Well,
No, some
you see,
go ahead,
go ahead,
Malachi.
Mark. No, go ahead.
All right. No, from my knowledge, right, it could be used, give, let's say, the US register Strand Cinema first, right? And
Right.
I'm in Guyana, and I then register Strand Cinema. Now, it could be used if you franchise it, right?
Yeah.
But let's say you don't franchise it, because franchising is a legal way to use it, right? Just
Yeah.
like how we have the
But
AMC
you gotta go.
theaters and
You
all
gotta
these things
actually go
across.
through. If you franchising, you gotta go through the owner over here
Correct.
to give you that franchise.
Correct. So that is a legal way. The illegal way is obviously like how we Guyanese love it, to go and set up shop and open it and use it without anybody permission.
I'll give you a perfect example. We have Bed Bath and Beyond. If we were connected internationally with the the Accords, there is no way that we could have had Bed Bath and Beyond if we didn't have a franchise of Bed Bath and Beyond from the US. It's the
Right.
same thing like
Yes.
KFC. You can't have a KFC that is established by a totally different owner using the Colonel symbol, using their logos, using their color pattern, their color scheme, and all of that, saying they're KFC, but they're not a franchise of the actual KFC from the
Correct.
US. It,
Yes.
it, it never happens. So this is what we have to kind of inculcate in our people now. This is why the educational process is so vital and important, because as
Mhm.
well as teaching you the rights of these companies and these entities, you also get to learn your rights as a creative
Yes.
and what you can benefit from and what you can protect and keep as yours.
Okay.
So it's also important to know that there's a second way that you could actually use the name if you didn't go through the franchise. And let's say we don't go through the very bad traits, like how Guyanese like to lift up things, right? You could use Trans Cinema, but not as a movie theater.
No.
You could use it as a network, right? You could use it as a on your merchandise, right? So
Yeah.
whatever US have registered, because there's different class or acts that you have to register your thing in. There's codes assigned to them, right? So let's say
Mhm.
Strand Cinema is in the arts and entertainment field, and you want to use Strand Cinema as a clothing, you could then go use it. There's no problem because it's not clashing. It's not a conflict of interest, right?
Nope. Not in the
So
same business.
correct. Currently, there's two Supreme brands that a lot of people is not really familiar with. One is from the UK and one is from China, right? Both
Mm.
rock Supreme. The China Supreme is a little bit broader in wording and the background, while the actual Supreme is just the actual letters without the background. But when we look at it, we're just looking at Supreme. But there's an actual story whereby these guys went to court a couple years ago, and the judge would end up had to rule in, well, you register, China registered, but the original owner, which is like a mom and pop shop in the UK, did not register their trademark. So because of they started using it back in the early, I didn't even want to say the year, but between the 80s and 90s, they started using that. Actually, I think way before they even, right? They started using the actual name Supreme. Now, when China jumped on years ago, they pretty much playing catch up after 12, 20 years, right? Span of that time. So the judge then ruled, well, because you register as China first, you legally have the right to the name. But because
Yeah.
this guy used it first, they also have the right to the name. So now
Mhm.
y'all have to share the brand. And that
Yeah.
is why we see a Supreme with a border and then a Supreme with just the word entity. And both
Yeah.
is currently making money and capitalizing off of the brand and the name itself.
Mhm.
Is right? But
Yes.
I could then register Supreme as a coffee brand and they can't stop me.
No. Listen. I think that might, because I could remember there's a name that is being used on the movie theater, and then try to use not the same spelling, just the sound of the name, right, on the radio station,
Yeah,
and
that that
it get flagged and it got don't.
because it's in the same entertainment category.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in each area there's like a code. For instance, let's say don't quote me on it on the exact numbers and quotes, right? But let's say the merchandising brand is 0.05 while the entertainment is 0.07. You could
Okay.
use it. I could use 0.05 and you could use 0.07 with the same name. And then
Okay.
another person could use 0.10 or whatever in a
So now a
different industry,
person.
let's say the food industry, and we all have no problems.
Oh,
Your
gotcha.
job as the individual, as a first person, is to register as much codes as possible.
Codes, in a sense of codes, you put them in a different frame. You get out of the zone there right now. Codes.
No. It's not out of the zone, Sherwin.
I
Let,
understand
let,
what
let me
I'm
let me let
saying.
me let me let me let me
It's
kind of
more like
simplify it for
It's
those
more
people
like
in the audience.
all the products have its own like you said, his own code name.
Its
So
own
it's like
IP. It's like a
yeah,
The own
computer having
number.
its own
the own
number,
Yeah,
number.
the own number.
own barcode.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, for example, it's
So
like when you register
correct.
your music, it has to be read. The reason you register it is that it has an ISRC code,
So you're
right?
saying music are being registered according to the genres or according to the name
No, no, no,
or for
no,
itself?
no. You
Every song.
register
So
any
actually, it's
song.
being the purpose of registration. The purpose of registration is for the sound of it,
Yeah,
right? So you, because remember, when we sue somebody in court, we're suing for using my sound, from using my tone, my pattern,
Okay.
right? So if let's say I have currently Militant's music registered as Hot and Groovy, right? Now, when I did the registration, I registered Hot and Groovy, the audio, the lyrics, and the instrumental,
right.
right? So now, if in the event that you come and register anything close to my ISRC is going to flag your audio and say, well, you're infringing on my trademark. Well,
Okay.
my copyright in this case, because it's music, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
when they tell you, this is why when you see you uploaded the audio on YouTube and you know it very well it don't belong to you, they just then send your email. YouTube would send your email
Yeah.
and say
No,
copyright infringement. You do
well,
not have to do anything.
let me get straight to that point.
Go ahead.
I had made reference at one point on the radio show. Myself and Daryl Pugsley were promoting a young lady, a young Guyanese artist. She's now passed away. RIP to her. Her name is Omaria, right? And she had done a really nice cover at the same time. Adele's song "Hello" had come out. All right, the song was peaking at #1 on the billboards, and we decided, okay, we're gonna throw a cover out there at the same time, right? So we did this really nice cover. Daryl did a really nice beat. I'm the promoting arm of it. So as soon as the thing, we did Facebook, we did YouTube, and we were like, okay, we banging this on the radio. And like a week or two after, I realized like all this stuff we put up on social media just suddenly disappeared, right? And I checked my email, and there was a letter from Universal Music saying that, we're willing to offer you the sync rights because in a week the video on YouTube had already gone to 52,000, right? So it was moving pretty quickly. So we were offered the sync rights, but at that time, it was, make a wild guess of the price to acquire such
A
for
song that
use.
is a song that is on the top
Yeah,
the billboard and you try
yeah,
to get sing rights.
yeah. Well, it's run. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is run. You have to run away because we in there in terms of the price there.
Price
You
crazy.
know, the price is off the chain. But again, I said that to say this. That just shows how important the whole IP issue is, because we're in Guyana, which is South America. Adele lives in the UK. The music is produced that side. But regardless of what, once it gains any form of notoriety, a cover that you have done without seeking permission or what is called the sync rights for that use of that material, it's going to be flagged immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is only because it was registered properly and it actually have the ISRC, the USPC codes, right? So without these codes, it is free to use music. As even on, in some cases, you go on YouTube and you type in copyright free music, and people can say it is free to use. It is actually not free to use. Not because I tell you it's free, that means it's free.
It's free. It's free to use if you at home
Yes,
editing
right?
something and you using it for your own personal use. But anytime you put that out there for any commercial purpose, the whole thing switches up.
Yeah.
Yep.
My question, right? For Guyana, I think me and Martin talked about this before, but presently, is there any protection that we can have as someone living in Guyana and want to protect a particular creative art, or so you got music artists could protect their writing. They could protect protect the song that they do and all of that. Is
Yeah.
there any law that covers that?
So
The basic
presently, there's
IP
the
law
old
covers it.
laws that we all, yeah, we
Yeah, go
all
ahead.
speak about the one paragraph that they got, right? That would be the blanket to cover everything. The problem we have in Guyana is we don't have the enforcement of it, right? There's also not an updated aspect, but that one paragraph would cover only goods, right? Which is why companies in Guyana is able to brand themselves, and they also would stretch their arms out to the UK and the US to make sure they're fully covered in the neighboring societies, right? But in Guyana directly, that one paragraph would cover you as if you're doing, let's say, sugar or rice or whatever the case may be, because that's the goods, right?
You,
That's in
you
that
see,
classification.
you,
But
you see, sorry, Martin. You see, Sherwin, what has happened
now
in
you're good.
Guyana? Because of the stagnation of the whole commerce and business, right? We haven't seen certain things happen. So the upgrading of business and corporate laws that would incorporate IP and all of that have not been able to move forward. For example, in the US where you are, you've heard of corporate takeovers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, big
All
time.
right. You've also heard of companies that are put other companies under what is called a forced buyout, which
Yeah,
is similar to a corporate takeover. You don't have those things happening in Guyana because it is what we have is something called like sole proprietorship, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
the man that there's a man that normally like I just give an example. There's a man
Uh,
that was he's flagged. He can't really get no contract directly from a certain company in the US.
Mm.
But he would normally, when all them small companies go and lobby and they go and get the jobs, he buys
mm.
all them out, everyone. And I don't know how that works, but for some reason, that's how the thing roll.
No, well,
Well, that is a gangster way of doing things.
that's the loan shark right there, bro. That's the loan shark. You know, okay, that you remember now
but
a lot of
I just
listen, a
take
lot of
them out
people
to tell them you
look
got what
what
I gonna do to
what a lot of people don't understand, Sherwin, about the contracts when they go, especially the government contracts. You have also have to have you've got to have a percentage of that money already in your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because you got to start that job, you ain't getting no money. So what
so
happens is that a
you have
lot
to
of them,
give them the money to show.
right? No, what happens? A lot of them don't have the money, the startup capital it takes to start those initial projects. So what happens? You go into an arrangement with the loan shark, and the loan shark then takes on the bill, and you take on your job as though you have this money to finance your project. But
Exactly.
you are beholden onto a loan shark who is taking a bigger chunk out of your thing because he's assisting you to even get the project up and running so you could benefit.
Yeah, definitely.
You see? So there's so many, listen, there's so many variables in business. There's so many variables in business that include the that we need IP. All right. And this is why we keep saying it's not just about music, it's about an industry. It's about all the creative
Yes.
industries or all the creative arms in Guyana. Because we're not only talking about musicians. Look, we have guys who do expert graphic work. We're talking about people like Black Bay and people like Isan Benzi and other people who are into the whole graphics art department, right? That's a whole sector by itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have people who are actually into designing clothing, like Sonia Noel and all these other people. Then we have Malinga and her whole crew, the girls who model. right? And modeling is a whole industry by itself.
Right.
Because why you think they got Instagram models and music vixens? Because money they in the industry there to make. You understand? It's called an industry. So we have to be able to sit down and outline and classify some of these industries that actually come together to form one industry, which is really the creative industries, right? And that's where all the what we call the entrepreneurs of this society. And when we look at the percentage of the contribution to entrepreneurs in any country, you're talking no less than 48%, right, of the entrepreneurs contribute to the GDP of a country,
Right.
because they are the people who are the ones who have the businesses that are the niche businesses that bring in a lot of capital and bring in a lot of money. um, those are the ones who come up with innovative ways to if not to have a new type of invention, but to have an add-on to something that's already there to make it even better, you know. So this that's another aspect of things that we as Guyanese haven't thought about. We don't have to reinvent anything, you know. You just have to look at what is there and look at it and say, okay, how do I add value to this? How do I do a VAT to this? Right? And look at a product and decide, yeah, if you're down that lane, how can I add another layer of value or add something to this product that makes it then an even more effective product?
Right.
All right. You know, those are some of the areas that we need to be thinking as a growing, a growing nation, a growing economy. And you know, with this injection of oil, we've got to look, and I'm hoping, as the president said, he is going to be looking at that, is not really just looking at oil, depending on oil, but taking a lot of the capital from oil and injecting it in to these new businesses, these sustainable businesses that can then even outlast the time of oil and all that, because that is what Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and all these places are doing. You know, they know that they're going to run out of oil sooner or later. With that level of that amount of oil coming out, they're not going to be there forever. So they have to find sustainable business modules to keep their country sustainable after oil.
Right. Well, what we can say to the question I asked? Okay, 'cause we got some folks that doesn't believe that it's that important, especially in the music industry. They believe that the music industry should be up, running, and blooming. Before anything is even thought about, or we should take it so important to IP laws and etc.
Well,
Just
if people is gonna believe, well, it's not that important, that is most likely because they're not in any area of creating, right?
Okay.
Because back in the days and not that long ago, a lot of artists would say, and this is mainly for the artists them, they'll say, "Oh, we don't need copyright laws in Guyana." But then, stupid, you're not making any money. Just like how you don't need no laws, you're not making any money today. You ain't make any money last year. You ain't make any money the last 10 years you been in the business. So don't you think at this point you need to take off your children pampers and put on your big white pants and say, we need to make a difference in life? Because now, 2024, everybody rallying behind the government, the ones who's able to at least, is rallying behind the government because they're giving out cash grants and they're giving out assistance for studios and this and that. But Smarty, you ain't make no money off you IP when you spend 10, 12, 15, 20 years in the music business. It's best you go
zero.
back to your 9 to 5.
Exactly. Exactly. It is something that I mean, if you're in a business and you're not educating yourself in that business that you want to do, it makes no sense.
Not
How are
at
you
all. If you're
progressing?
in a business and you ain't making no money, remember it's a business for a reason.
Well,
It's an industry.
it's called an industry and a business because money is being made. It's commerce,
If you
exchange of
ain't making
currency.
nothing at all, then something wrong with you.
Well, I don't think
Clearly,
they fully.
I know there's something wrong with our system and the fact that there's nothing to cover my IP. But I'm also in the US where I'm fully covered. You understand me? I'm
Well,
also signing on to other agencies in different countries to make sure I am covered.
mm-hmm,
So we would have seen the perfect example. I think C. Johnson would have been the only artist, right, from
mm,
Guyana to actually go and trademark Rollout Records, which is his brand and label.
correct.
And he would have post up. I don't know if anybody else, but we here. And you know we like boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only person who actually posted his trademark certificate was CJ.
Yep.
I never post me certificate, but I got me thing them in line. You understand, man? And I could tell you it costs.
Yeah.
An artist who can go up on stage, say them in need IP, ask for 200,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in this case, it's 400,000 Guyana dollars to perform. Could then take the 400,000, go into the US trademark office and trademark your music, copyright, trademark your logos and slogans and thing, and copyright your music for
Yeah.
the exact price that you asked them to perform. So that gave you all the keys already how expensive it is, right?
Yep.
And that alone is just in the area in entertainment. Once you come out for me, I like foods, I like entertainment. I ain't create nothing yet. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That far. You understand? But everything else, merchandising, branding, I like these things. So I
Yeah.
cover myself. So you can clear 2,500 US behind some jewelry, behind a brand on me lame. When I put on me hat, I know I fully covered. I can wear me clothes all the time. Now let me give you some extra, right? I got children, and y'all won't even believe the names of my children. My children named High Roller. Is right, man? My children is named after the brand. That's how serious I take me investment and me branding. I might even change my name to Martain Al-Ameen High Roller. You understand me? To make sure everything is covered across the board. When you talk blood, sweat, and tears, yeah, I serious like that.
That's when you go real
But
deep.
other people gonna take it for a joke.
Yeah.
Other people gonna take it for a joke. That's because they're not making bread. Anybody in the entertainment business and you're making bread, it's best you left it. I just tired to hear artists I done here for 20 years and a man thief me think, how? How?
Bro. This thing
Even
is
to
so
today,
funny.
for man thief, you think 10 years ago, this is the best time for going to collect your money.
Of course. What do you think they got lawyers for? Why do you think they got lawyers?
You gotta do the right thing from the get go. You can't just wait until everything is all overboard.
This is exactly what we're trying
You know
to
what I mean?
point out. Why some people are, I don't know if it's because of their lack of education, which I do believe so, that their lack of
Well, it's not for
education
that over everything
is
else.
right. It's causing uninformed or ill-informed stuff to come out their mouth. But the structural system that everybody is hoping to happen out of Guyana only can happen and happen one way. It's got to be through that political will to ensure that that IP laws and the updates of such happen. We don't have to reinvent the wheel
Yep.
as it was discussed at UG. We can easily because through CARICOM, we can have trade missions through Barbados, Trinidad, and Jamaica, who are well along the scope with IP, right? And allow, that those systems to influence what is happening here on the mainland in Guyana. Because trust me, in my estimation, Guyana stands to benefit the most in IP on the South American continent based on the fact that we speak English.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And all commerce has to pass through. And based on the regimes that are being planned with, for example, Brazil and Suriname, with those major bridges being built so that trucks with goods and services can come through Guyana, we look, we have to think. I think the population again got to really think big because their mind got to open up to realize how we have to one protect what we have and also be benefit from what we have protected because they think just protecting it, what does that benefit us? But
Mm.
when somebody steal it from you is when you realize, well, if I had it, if I didn't protect it, it's gone. If I protect it, it's still mine.
All right, so
Yes, sir.
we got a lot of artists that's coming out that is hungry,
Mhm.
is young. Some folks are getting up in the years of creating and all these things, right? But at this point in time, right, you guys that are very much aware of what is going on and how you can actually go about protecting your stuff. Um, what can you tell a Guyanese that is doing all this in Guyana? Well, in the meantime, he's waiting for all these things to happen in the sense of government government has to come to the parliament has to come together. Then they have to decide on all these different things. It takes time.
Well,
So
actually, Sherwin, not the parliament, the artists themselves. You see how things move, my bro. Is once the creative people come together. Let's stop focusing on artists, right? Once
no,
the
no, but what's
creatives
saying
comes together,
to get
hold on,
the
hold
laws to get the
right? To
laws of
get,
Guyana.
this is what I'm saying. To get that to happen, the
Hmm.
creators have to come together. All right.
Okay.
Once they come together and form a body and have a representative, the government has to pay attention because that body will be in numbers. Because you're talking from photographers to cinematographers to writers to artists to designers in computer software, in clothing, in architecture, all of that has to be covered. So you're talking about every gamut of the thing. And that's a
And
huge part of Guyana's population.
everybody have to be in agreement of that body that is going to be formed, that they're capable enough to represent and take
Mhm.
that to the government.
Well, because we have not had an efficient body before, um, it would be kind of like a shot in the dark for the people who don't know about it.
Right.
But it would be in their best interest to work along with that because it's not just people talking all the time. It will be lawyers because this is about legal frameworks that are needed, right? So it's not just people who we would call the usual suspects would be involved in that because those policy frameworks are not run by the usual suspects. Those are frameworks built in law. So you need lawyers who understand those legal frameworks and how they affect the people who are looking to be protected under those laws, right? So we first would have to have several, let's say, symposiums or conferences where the creatives meet um, with the legal fraternity to
But
kind of go ahead.
sorry, not cut. All right, but what I'm saying, my question is really, while all this is being put together, and folks are still trying to get music done because there's all these local things that's popping up, and you want to be known as an artist and all of that. What is it is there anything that they should they can register their music on an international stage, or is there any way that they can do it in Guyana that is going to help them?
there's no local registry in that.
So everything that they do right now, they should do it on an international level.
They would have to do
Well,
it outside.
no, hold on, Malachi, hold on. You can't say there's no registry or local registry because so there's no known local registry. Man, we
For
gotta be
music.
very specific when we giving out information, right?
For music.
Known, remember we got something in we pocket. You
Yeah, I know.
understand? So
Known.
there's no known.
There's no known.
So what you can actually, what you can say now to a guy that wants to register and he's local, he's in the local area.
So what I usually tell every artist coming out of Guyana, if you could find a way to make money, go ahead. Don't call me, right? But when you start making your money, I would, of course, like to know how you're getting it back to Guyana, right? Now, we do have a system to get it back to Guyana, right? So I would like to know how Guyanese artists are able to receive their money coming back into Guyana. Most importantly, I want to know how local Guyanese are able to receive their royalties from BMI, ASCAP, Harry Fox Agency, TuneCore, and everybody else.
If they're in Guyana.
In Guyana, right?
So
Thirdly,
is there a possibility of that though?
yes, yeah, of course. They have
Yeah,
banks.
but
They got ways around.
It has to go through a specific agent.
No, they could, like, artists right now could go directly to certain banks and register with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I say register, I mean open a bank account. Yes,
Yeah.
right? Register with distribution agencies in the US and link it to your bank system, right?
Okay.
Obviously, you have to get the right banking system. This is where you're going to pay me if I tell you, right?
Wait now. Apparently, wait now, about it. Don't forget that you also have to have. Remember, the music business is called a business for a reason. So you would have to have a business, right? I mean, it could come to a personal account, but a lot of the times it can take a minute because personal things will be flagged because of Guyana's issue with the anti-money laundering and financing of terrorism bill. You understand?
So there's always ways to get things done by yourself. But are you going to put in the time, the energy, the connections, the investment like I already did to get your thing faster to you? So this is where we come in as the middleman, like this, Scarlett.
I'm saying, yes, it happens. Jackie Jackson been doing it for years.
Of course. I mean, Alabama show you he collect your BMI royalty check. You understand? And these are things that I love to see.
Yeah.
But remember, these people got people overseas.
Yep.
Like Malachi mentioned, having people and having your thing personally done, 9 out of 10 times is an issue.
The issue.
Right? Because
I understand.
In America, you cannot go to the bank doing business with your personal account. Right? You can't go to certain establishments doing business with your personal account.
It may work in Guyana, but they don't understand. I mean, financing outside of Guyana is like a whole different ballgame.
But then that is the thing. Even when you do it in Guyana, you're breaching the same exact anti-money laundering laws and these are the things. Right? The banking system is breaching their own things that they put in place to protect them. This is why we have a lot of pyramid schemes in Guyana and a lot of posts on Facebook now saying, if you see this man, he sell me 3 land and we looking for you because he sell the same land to 10 other people, right? Or he did business or he shipped something in for me and I pay you already and I can't find it. That is what we have to go through because we want to go through our own way as everybody's want to do it themselves. Fine. Do it yourself as an artist. I
Yeah.
encourage you to spend 10 years plus studying.
Yeah. How to do it
Aside
and
me,
then do it.
I encourage you to go to school and learn. Of course, we need more educated people. But I also encourage you to try fight it by yourself. You can call me, and they always do call us in
Of
the end and
course.
say, yo, I realize I remember when you were telling me this, Malachi, this is how me, you actually connected directly in the business,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because when I give you advice and you was doing your thing, even in the US, and I say, yo, I went through this is me experience, my G. And you months after go through the same thing and call me and say, hey,
Yep. Same thing.
thing just hit the fan, right?
Yep.
And when it hit
Yep.
the fan, this is how we're able to now connect on a more personal level. I could show you, yo, this is why I tell you this from the jump. And we've done this in the US countless times whereby we told other people, when you're working with an artist, make sure you have contracts in place,
Yep.
right? If you have a business registered where a lot of Guyanese overseas got, right? Everybody got an LLC or thing because it's easy to do it in America. America is a capitalist society. They foster business and movements and commerce. You
Correct.
understand?
Yep.
But when you can take them back to Guyana, imagine going into your business account, drawing out more than $10,000 and getting on a flight coming to Guyana and see what's gonna happen. You tell them that you coming here for do music or you doing that man taking your money at the airport. You might be placed under arrest based on how much money you have, right? But for sure, they're taking your money, especially if you can't show proof that you recently draw this money out of your account.
Yep.
And who in the right mind can take out so much money to go on a trip? Now these man is look at
Cash.
all these things. You understand, man? Exactly. Business do business with other business.
Exactly.
Aside, man.
That is
And
what
this
I
is
was
why,
mentioning earlier.
yeah, this is why the laws is in place to protect business, like we mentioned. Guyana Sugar Estate exists for a reason. The rice estate exists for a reason. Now we get the bauxite exists for a reason. Business interact with other business. This is why the government is able to go and fund them when the calling and things running short. We've known in Guyana the rice industry been suffering, the sugar industry been suffering, and the government funnel money to keep it alive. But imagine when have we seen the government funnel money to keep any artist alive?
That one bad for days. Keep them alive.
That little grant that you are getting don't add up. So if all we come together, register a cooperation, a non-profit organization, so you need both, right? A non-profit organization will represent the entire creative industry. An organization that I own, you own, and everybody else own, we're working collectively together, will represent individuals. Then the government would jump and say, hey, y'all need some bread because y'all dying over there. Artists say making money because y'all ain't getting no shows, da. Let me help y'all. Them little small grant we are getting, we can be actually collecting them $1 billion budget that cut in. Just like every other industry collecting them big budget. Is we alone suffering? Well, y'all suffering.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Actually, they're suffering because they're the ones creating stuff and ain't making no money on it.
yes, sir. I mean, this is how the industry, this is how society goes. This is the
No, but
the
one of the
environment
things
we're
too,
living in.
yeah, I continue, Martin. But one of the things too that our environment has got to kind of like understand, right? Guyanese have this mentality that they must make money without investing money, and that's a fact. We know this based on their approach to business. All right. So when we finally break away from that particular mindset that says we can reap without sowing, right? When we get rid of that mindset, I think things will then change in the more to the positive direction of what they're looking to happen. Because I don't understand how you reap without sowing.
You gotta make sure you put in and you make sure that you sow. You know, they say good seeds, so you could get good seeds. So bad seeds,
Well,
you get bad stuff.
well, if for me, it's not even like that. For me, it's like I look at it literally from the farming perspective. If I
Yeah.
go out there and I go out on the land and I cultivate the land and I put seeds and everything and they
Mhm.
germinate nicely and it's
Right.
that food coming for me because I put in the work for this food come for me. So I ain't gonna get 100% of the crops, but I'm gonna get a lot of the crops we eat, right?
Right.
But our people's mentality need to change from one of, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If they want to put in average to mediocre work, but they want top class pay,
Right.
and it just can't work. It just cannot work. And as creatives, they have to
Mhm.
take their creative skills seriously. It's like your bread and butter. And for those people who finance their lives based on their creative skills, it's doubly difficult. And this is what a lot of them don't understand. For a lot of the people who claim they're artists, the people who surround them, for
Mhm.
example, myself, Martin, Mobile Black Boy, I see making some good comments on the live and stuff like that, right? We are all entrepreneurs. We're not depending on a check from nobody.
Well,
Right.
I depend on a check. Hold
No,
on.
no, no. I depended on a check too. But me check got come from Sirius XM. You know how my
Yes,
thing
sir.
go, right? Me check and come from them, right? But what I'm talking about is that we all are entrepreneurs who, in different facets of the business, survive through using our very skills that whatever we're doing to make stuff happen. And we are not
Hmm.
artists. None of us here are artists. And if
Yep.
we can use the very thing that the artists create to build platforms and to build things with it, and they can take the very thing they're creating to build something, it shows us something is drastically wrong with the
Yep.
way they're thinking,
Hmm.
right? It shows a drastic mindset change needs to happen, right? And I'm hoping that, people don't, because one of the things I notice about our people is that we can take somebody giving you some positive criticism. We go, oh God, this one is always coming with the bad thing, and they're like,
Again.
oh God, he again. No, because if you were accomplishing the things that you should have accomplished, there would have been no need for us to come out and do these kind of educational programs where we're trying to um, uh, edify you
Right.
about, for example, issues that really affect you as a creative and how it affects your development. And IP is one of those things that most of the creatives in Guyana should have sat down and had that in their head.
Yes.
So
Every single one of them.
normally the projection of artists, like you ring it in the ear. Um, somebody told me that when the artist is in Guyana, their projection is to do music or create their music in order for it to be known and get an opportunity to get out and perform or boss or whatever. And a lot of the artists out here is projecting back of how they can get their music to be heard in Guyana so that they would call that the opportunity for them to boss. So there's a conflicting back and forth kind of issue. What advice you can give
So
concerning this? Because
it
Confusion.
no
Confusion.
no hold on, right? It kind of makes sense from my point of view because I spend pretty much most of my time at this point in the US, right? And I want people to know me back home. I watched another guy in media recently, and he said, "Well, he want to be the most famous Guyanese man on social media in the world."
Mm.
You understand me?
Uh-huh.
So I listened and I said, Well, I've always had this drive, so you know, falling in line behind me. You understand? But I don't just want to be famous. I want to be known with substance. You
Something
understand,
behind it.
man? So when you see I come out, Martin, Al-Ameen, the cute guy behind in front of the cameras these days, that is already branding. I'm branding myself. Yeah, I see how I come. You understand?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So it is important to understand, me being in America, I am able to say, yo, y'all know what it's like to have an entire country behind you. Compared to being in Florida and say, yo, Miami stand up and, a couple people representing for me. When I could
Yeah,
say anybody from Guyana in here, and we see a crowd, just like how the artists do it.
yeah, yeah.
You understand? I rather see a big crowd of Guyanese representing than 10 people from the nearest village that I there in, represented. It just looks bigger because I could then use that. For instance, I could go to Africa right now with a couple thousand US and just loose it down in whatever country we're in their
Yeah.
currency, even in Guyana. And you go in the market and you just throw it out the vehicle like you in the strip club. And you there in vehicle and we seen it. People in with the phone, oh, look how the fans just flocking me and they think and they, yeah, that's what I want.
Create the
The
hype.
image of it shows the world that, yo, this man is a very important man. When they come and listen conversation like this, they're gonna say, hey, you ever hear the man tag the man and start some sensible thing? You
Mhm.
understand?
Yeah.
Some people just want the fame. Me just want fame alone.
Need a
I want
substance
the
to the people.
entire legacy.
Correct.
Exactly. It's got to be, for example, if I get recognized for something, I mean, not that I am not recognized for quite a few accomplishments already, but I mean, overall, the goal really is to be a phenomenal broadcaster that really enlightens the rest of the world about my home country.
Mm-hmm.
Punto final. That's the ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's the ultimate goal. And like I tell even artists, when you have that goal in mind, what you have to do, everything else then becomes secondary, and you
Yep.
start working towards that, right? Everything else pointing, all arrows gotta go, all ducks gotta go in that row, heading in that direction to that goal that you want to reach. So again, a lot of them believe that trying to get there would not include a lot of sacrifices,
Hmm.
a lot of maybe hungry days, a lot of deprivation of things that you really want, you
Yeah.
know,
100 times over.
a
You
hundred
got to
times over.
sacrifice.
Exactly.
So
You
then,
gotta sacrifice enough.
you guys are saying this. Then, like we look at Trinidad. Trinidad is one of the countries that their music has been actually attraction in the sense of their industry tourism. Jamaica, the same thing. Their music has been a part of the attraction in their industry tourism.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also their music depicts their culture, the society culture. Um, you think that is something that we're lacking, so that we can actually have a specific brand where we coming out to say that this is what we're known for. Even though when we coming out on the stage, see everybody's saying, "Oh, you can sing this genre, that genre, that genre, that genre." I understand. But isn't there a specific way that maybe we should think about where we heading in order to say that when we put this branding in the world, or in the sphere, that is like, yo, this gotta be that man that's coming out with this kind of music right now is the hottest thing. You understand what I mean? So I don't know. What advice you guys got on that part?
Well, I
So,
can tell.
yeah, go ahead, Malachi.
Yeah, I can tell you straight up. I can be short with it. I mean, we got a far way to go. In terms of, um, we do have a few ready to go artists. When I say ready to go, they're at the zenith point. They're ready to go international already. However, um, we still have, this what I like to call this delusional complex that's happening with a lot of individuals who classify themselves as artists and not understanding that is not the delusion in your head that says that you're going to be this superstar, but actually the work that you put in will actually prove your metal, your worth, if you want to be this superstar as you claim,
Mhm.
right? And I hear a lot of artists from Guyana say, "Oh, I'm an international artist."
Hmm.
How is that possible?
You're far from reality.
Yeah, because
I try to,
they
no,
might have they
I try
might
to
have
figure out
performed
the
internationally.
international performed internationally, performed internationally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that because internationally is not exactly flying from Guyana to New York to a bar or a event and then coming back home. That's not internationally.
Hmm.
Internationally would mean you had a string of countries, including countries in the Caribbean, and you had quite a few states in the US that you touch it. That is internationally. Europe, other places, the UK, the US, the Caribbean.
I
That's
think you
international.
got to hit all several continents.
Of course, that's the idea of the word international. You're regional if you haven't gone out of the region.
Hmm.
This is, I mean, bro, it's a funny thing. It's like when I mentioned on the radio that companies in Guyana are not sponsoring individuals. Everybody was like, "Oh, you mean they don't sponsor?" And I was like, "Listen, let me explain to you what sponsorship. Sponsorship means when you allocate that $5 million to me, and you allocate that to me, I'm not giving you anything back. You understand? Like I had to ask some people, like, listen, go to the Webster or the Oxford Dictionary and check out this thing called sponsorship.
Hmm.
Understand it clearly, especially from a business perspective. And business, when a business is doing an endorsement or sponsoring an athlete or an artist or a writer or whoever, what kind of get money back scheme these banners is they put?
The pyramid scheme, man. We people like the, you don't understand. Our people love that kind of lifestyle, Maji.
It
The
is a
same
kickback.
get money back thing.
The
You
kickback.
understand?
I get it out to the company, I give you, and later down I spin by you and collect a portion
Of the books. This is
of the
why we
books.
have very strict laws when it
But no, hold
comes
on.
to money laundering.
But here they stupid. Here they stupid, right? They realize there's something called accounting. And when it all boils down and they go to GRA, whoever named the check being in, let me say be Harry Lal.
Hmm.
Harry Lal now, although he give the kickback, he still got to go and pay the percentage on the taxes when they go to GRA. So how they really making sense?
Bye. Well, remember, since I know a little bit about the books, right? You can write that off as a loss. You understand me? Or you
No,
can
well,
find something else in that
no,
place
no.
to write
I
off
not,
the loss to accommodate the.
you can't write it off as a loss if when you sponsor.
No, well,
Uh,
sponsor, if you sponsor somebody, that is a donation. So based
no,
on
no,
the
no, no,
end,
no, no, no. You gotta understand this clearly.
mm,
You and your definition and my definition of the word sponsor, we know what that is.
correct.
I am dealing with it from the Guyanese perspective of what that is,
Mm,
because there's a difference.
I
The
get you.
Guyanese perspective is okay, and sponsor your thing. Um, I'm gonna bring my bar to your party or whatever event you have. We can sell out.
Mm.
At the end of the night now, we can count off.
And
I
then you
can
gotta,
give you, wait now, this is a laugh. I can give you a percentage of the proceeds, right?
yeah,
And we make a split and I go back, I count off all my sales and whatever, and I'm good and you good.
Mm.
I'm like, are you insane? I mean, for me, everything you sell there at my event, all the money that was
Belongs to
acquired,
you.
it belongs to me. You
Yep.
understand? I don't know what definition or how their business structure is run, but it seemed rather wrong.
Mm.
You understand? And this is again I think is more systemic and endemic in the way things are run in Guyana. Because on the hand, business and corruption, if that don't cut out, my bro, there is no way that you could have a progressive society if the whole issue of the whole ites, the whole thing about going to work is the ability to make an extra bread on the side. You going to work and you get your salary to put in the work. But you sitting there, and if a man ain't give you a 5,000, you will get it up and go and look for he five. You left you sitting down on the bench all day. When he come and hello, you excuse me, I put in this for this, a request for this thing so long. You can tell you, well, boss, I could think it for you, I expedite it for you. But you don't know you got left something.
I think Guyana would have perfectly created an avenue to expedite stuff.
By expedition is the name of the word in these times. Yes. It's expeditiously done.
Guyana found a legal way to expedite stuff, which now
Bro,
I
expedition is not a word you should be using when it's your job.
well, that's what I'm saying, right? I can't remember a time ever in the US whereby anything is expedited, or any other country I travel to that
No,
ever had
I've
anything
no,
expedited.
I have never heard the word expeditiously in anything. You
Mm.
understand me? Especially when it comes to any form of documentation or any customs or any immigration or any police thing. I've never heard that word ever. Expedite when?
yo,
So you know automatically as soon as you start hearing certain words, this is a run-in. This is here on Skira,
Mm.
you know. I mean, sometimes, and I think our job overall is to kind of highlight some things that kind of bring people from the dark into the light.
Of course.
Because a lot of the times, I mean, Martin and I, we look on and we wondering, like the first time I mentioned to an artist, I'm like, but when you go on stage and people record you and stuff, what happens to that recording? You know?
Mm.
Then he started to think like, boy, for truth, you know how much shows I do and people record them show I never get a copy. I'm looking at he like you
Lust.
never. I've lost like you never got a copy. So you didn't know before you did the show that, for example, you're supposed to have a contract, and in that contract it states that the media will only be allowed to record 15 minutes of your performance. If you perform it for 45 minutes, they allow 15 minutes of that. All right, as the media. Nobody else, except the people who with their phones and whatever, whatever. You don't care about that
Hmm. Now,
because you know when you submit for your thing, you still getting that.
correct. So to add to that media recording aspect, right? It
Yeah,
is kind of a little bit lenient based on who you're actually working with. Some
yeah,
personnels would allow you to record the full extent, but then they would collect a certain amount of fee for
yeah,
that upfront,
yep,
right? So last year we would have seen at the CPL. and the year previous, major artists coming to Guyana. Even now, we hear Burna Boy coming for how much ever million Guyana dollars.
Mhm.
Now, at which day and age is Guyana planning to expeditiously implement intellectual property right laws
Yeah.
to accommodate Burna Boy catalog of music?
Mhm.
That is not going to happen. So what they're going to do is say, yo, my booking fee is so much.
No, Martin, I just had a brilliant, I have a brilliant cunning plan, like King Julian, right? I got a cunning plan. We can start the story. We're going to record Murder Boy show, right?
Mhm.
Right? Tag that and upload that to several social platforms, right?
Mhm.
As we would. We can
Well,
show these guys how this thing does really backfire very quickly on
so
you.
Yeah,
so
that
there's
really
two things with that, right?
happening a lot though from Guyana with
Huh?
specific. There's been just some specific uh video editors and guys streamers that's been
Mhm.
putting out videos a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
videos,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a whole an entire
And
show.
they copy actually my way of doing things because I was one of the only Guyanese who's actually recording videos performance, and I just record the whole thing. Me keep it your contract, right? I just record the whole entire performance. It's smart thing what I do, and this is what a lot of Guyanese don't do, especially video editors and videographers. When they record a performance, Barnaby is coming and Malachi see he got a plan. Now we can do the plan. I can show you how I am able to record Barnaby, Rick Ross, and every other artist coming to Guyana, right? With their copyright law in place. Now, being in the US, when you see that copyright strike come on the first time, it is that you don't have to do anything. But if the back end, let's say the manager of that artist or the label of that artist go into the back end of YouTube and say,
Yeah.
take down this content, now you have an issue with YouTube,
Yeah.
right? And YouTube would send everybody an email letting them know there's a takedown strike. With YouTube, there's a 3-strike takedown process.
Yeah,
Now, if you fall into that 3-strike in a short space of time, your YouTube channel gone.
gone.
What I do to keep content up is if you go back and look at my content, I would have Massacre performing or any other artist performing. But every 15 seconds, you can see a beep, right? And that is the sensor that 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 seconds out. Because if I go past a certain amount of time within my recording, I'm legally obliged to take it down. I am legally or illegally infringing on said artist's intellectual property, right?
Damn.
So I learned this at Rolling Loud. I record Nicki Minaj, I record Chris Brown, all these big artists. And when I upload this video, I said, shocked how so much people telling me take down me thing. And I said, nah, I can't work, sir.
No, but
And I went back and
the funny
re-edited
thing,
it.
right? The funny thing about that particular issue, right, is
Mhm.
that a lot of people don't recognize that it's happening to them. You know why? Because they don't know that on the scale of things, Guyana's internet is being screened. So
Mhm.
we are basically restricted to a certain region, right?
Correct.
This is why you don't get hundreds of thousands of millions of views because we're restricted. This is
Correct.
because we're not in the intellectual property rights sphere of things.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
understand?
And
So
there's a
when you record somebody's show, you are supposed to make your money from it, but you're
yep.
not in a zone that's protected and covers that. So nothing for you.
Because in the US, there's a license system, and this was updated with the new laws that came out, I believe, last year, the 100 and
Yeah.
something new laws,
Yep,
right?
the
Whereby
$120.
the YouTube allows you to keep up said content, right? Said performance based on if you're living in the copyright cover jurisdiction. They allow you to keep up that content, but you're not receiving any money. right? That money would
Mhm.
then go directly back to the artist or the creator, the original
Yeah.
person for that. Or the creator could then decide, well, you're helping me to promote myself. I'm going
Mhm.
to allow you to keep a small percentage
Mhm.
of whatever's being made. And I seen it. My artist got 10 million views on a YouTube channel that don't belong to he. When I start working, he said, yo, we got to take this down. But then I think about it. I said, nah. Because even on TikTok, we got hundreds of people reacting to his music. So
Mhm.
we can't take down everybody thing. What we do is I personally just go and take their videos that they're reacting to, upload it on my artist channel as shorts. That way
Uh-huh.
they making money, I making money times two, because I still making money from me plus them.
Yep.
Yes, right, man.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna, when I said it's
Well,
strictly government wise the population, you
No, well,
ain't gonna get away from me and squeeze in for me pockets, knowing that you only getting 20%. I want 20% of everything I could see.
exactly.
And this is what a lot of artists need to understand. Even when you perform all over, you have to go into BMI, ASCAP, and your different PROs and register your music, stating that you perform at that location, said venue.
But check this out. How many of these artists, when you go on their page, right, on social media, you see a short snippet of a performance or snippets of their performances over time, let's say over a few years. I don't think there are any of them that have snippets of their performances over time,
No, they don't.
you know.
This is why artists love to come to Guyana, because we're able to get away with certain things, and we wholesale like to uplift and spend money upon tickets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So me as I, you can't vex with the artist when a man say, yeah, I want 100 million for come to your country, right? Plus per diem. Plus I bring in an entire team like the man coming with Africa behind me. You
Well,
understand?
well, well. I can tell you based on experience, right? Because when Arkell came, it wasn't. Trust me, it wasn't on a commercial. It was on his own private jet. So we know for a fact an artist like Burner Boy, whose real cost is $1 million US per
Yeah.
show, who is getting a half cut really for come to this place. You understand? He getting probably like 500,000 to come to Ghana because he
Mhm.
ain't lashing them with the full bundle.
US, by the way.
US. So he's gonna come in with his whole entourage. It should be like 33 of them on the plane on the private jet. This should be cool. You know what I mean? They gonna fly in and fly out. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Everybody else will probably come in commercial, tech team, dancers, whoever else, yada. But you know, the main support team for Burner Boy, they gonna be on the private jet. And all that stuff is quite costly. I
Yep.
mean, look. I mean, some people are saying, "Oh, I mean, all these big shows in Guyana happening." One of the things that they don't understand, and I don't, I think the Ministry of Tourism really needs to kick in at this point because I don't see them maximizing on
Come on
these
now.
events, on these things that are happening. You understand?
I
Yeah.
just to cut you there, I believe when any big artist come in, Ministry of Tourism should wholesale. We like to lift up thing, but we just want to lift up the wrong thing.
Yeah.
They should wholesale take up this artist and say, yo, Kaichor there. Would you guys love a trip to our beautiful Kaichor Falls and give them the brief history and rundown? Just like we did with when the girl from Black Panther came, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's
That's
Guyanese. We did it for her, but you gotta do this for all these major artists. So cut a deal with the promoters, right? So instead of you bringing them one day, because the government are already spending the tax money and the budget on entertainment, so why not just go all out and done, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Spend an extra bread,
Market the
send
country
the
properly.
artists. Exactly. Put the artists on Kaicho, put you in the Rowaimas and in the different mountains that we got and whatever, right? The Rupununi and all that.
Let him drop a positioning statement that states come to
Exactly.
Guyana, the place for your eco lifestyle or whatever your
Exactly.
slogan may be. And you
Um,
keep that and use that as part of the marketing.
just so we know, this is consulting. So I would like my 10% to
Yeah,
my ideas, right?
yeah, yeah. You see, here, but it's good. It's good to have good ideas, but you see, we know.
I tell you why I call this consultation
Yeah,
fee.
I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
my
yeah.
consultation fee too.
He's a
But
businessman.
but but one of the things we do know is that hearing it right and implementing it are two different things altogether.
Hmm. Well, we
Man,
kind of see it small with travel with Zoe, the white girl from the UK. It's like they sure the wrong. We saw it with Wodemaya from Africa,
Uh-huh.
right? So we just see it, but I would like to see it a lot more because we're gonna sell ourselves faster. Rihanna got her whole house where she grew up in on the market for any world could come and check it out.
Yeah, I went
And
and take a
in
picture. I went and take a
I
picture.
plan to go, and the neighborhood protects that.
Yeah,
So
see, the
yeah.
thing
I
is,
would believe,
yeah. Sorry.
I would, I would believe that Rihanna's community that she grew up in, because they're working day and night to protect that house, which
Mm.
is a historical establishment at this point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I would believe that they are gaining more than the government is benefiting everything else. We should do the same thing in Guyana. Go ahead, Sherwin.
So look at this. The thing is, and I continuously say that Guyanese have not been taught, or for some reason, their patriotism, like they normally, their patriotism is more in the sense of, oh, we got a celebration, we coming out and we represent it with a flag.
All right, I put that in layman terms, Sherwin. Drink and wine up. That's it. Drink
Yeah.
and wine up. Simple
Wherewith
thing.
now you find that they are not in that sense, they don't have that sense of respect for the people that have came far long before, and they do not upkeep that kind of an that kind of what I would say knowledge to passing down to the youths of today or the younger generation, so it continues to flow as something that everybody knows, because listen, we got so much of people. I'm telling you, numerous individuals that is you could sit and have a whole you can have a whole conversation about for hours upon hours on each one,
Hmm.
and
Of course.
they don't even have. Still want to know why Guyana don't have a good museum to feature certain things that they're really supposed to feature.
Because we haven't gone into archiving properly.
No,
I,
not even that. I think the most important part you said in the beginning is the sense. We people barely got sense, Maji. Yes, right? Now, it may sound bad, but we daddy back. All we enough for we daddy back in the class. Our brain children don't live in Guyana. And this is our problem.
because
Yeah, Ghana
because
got a few
there,
brain kids.
there's something called when you can't connect with something that you trying to get people to understand. As soon as a person make a move and realize how it's more how people are more respectable or respecting some of the things that's coming out your mouth or some of the things that you're doing, out here, rather than when it should be respected at home, bro. The mark telling you straight up, I go home, I can pick up my clothes, I roll in because
Amos,
I cannot, I can't mesh with what's going on. He already grew out of the society,
a
you
lot of
know.
people don't like structure. I would have worked in the US, right, in the kitchen, and this specific kitchen, they were trying to recreate a system and the wheel of how things is being done in the service industry. Now, given it's black owned, right, everything was segregated to supporting black. which is good. Black people, black business, black everything, right? That is super powerful for that community. But the thing is with that is you then wanted to create a system whereby your workers don't actually have a structured system to follow, like how the regular food industry have. And this guy wanted to create a more of a like we come home by auntie type thing, and we all could go in the pot and we all could go and cook and we all could walk in the fridge. It's more of a homey vibe. And I said to the owner as well, this is good. I love the idea, but this is business.
Yep.
And at the end, you're going to lose.
Exactly.
Now, if you allow everybody to walk into your kitchen at any given time, doing whatever they want, people is not going to come and eat at your establishment. And even to today, he haven't understand what I've been trying to explain to him. Unfortunately, the business gonna close down. You understand?
So instead of you doing a buffet, you do a walking and do what you feel like.
Because
I do what you feel like.
he has an unsustainable module for business. It's simple as that.
Exactly.
It's unsustainable. And this is what we've been pointing out to the creatives in Guyana. They just have unsustainable modules of business because we're talking business. We're not talking your creative skill,
Mm-hmm.
your creative premise. We have not, I don't think at any point in our conversations we have lashed out or tried to downplay the creative premise of any of the creatives in Guyana. What we have done is that we have offered solutions to certain problems which they think they may have. According to this artist, he says, enough people just believe that when every time they reach a stumbling block in Guyana, is Obia somebody, Obia in them, which ain't got nothing to do with Obia.
Like
You
like,
understand?
like I would normally tell a lot of people, sometimes the seemingly worst businessman is the man that really know what he need. He don't have the knowledge. He got the money, but he's willing to pay or do what he has to do in order to accomplish what the business has to be. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like for instance, people feel as though that music industry you have to be knowledgeable. I don't have to get no knowledge.
You gotta get the people who got the
All I
knowledge
gotta get is the money
and
Yes,
the
sir.
and
people.
make sure that I got the people, the right people,
Simple thing.
to deal with what I have to be dealt with. The end of the day, when we finish and I do everything that I has to do in order for them to be happy, that is executing that job, I am on the winning side of collecting the big hack of the bread. And I don't know one hell about. You can tell me, come and tell me, yeah, this thing, I can basically tell you something like, yeah, if you want, you could go in there. The man in there can make sure he guide you along wherever.
Sherwin,
And for
before we go
years,
too
the man
far,
would be like, yeah,
before we go too far, right? I just want to state something because artists, when you said the Haggerty bread just now, I know they have some people on the line. Their perspective of Haggerty bread is a whole different perspective than the actual reality
no,
of
no, no,
what the
no.
Haggerty bread.
Oh,
Wait,
oh,
no,
oh,
hold on.
yeah.
I just want to state this. Usually, international contracts with artists, right? They get something like 12%. Eh?
Well, you
Mm.
got to stick to your percentage.
No. A lot of artists believe when, like, again, when you said Haggerty, the money, they thinking 75%.
No,
They mining the 12% bracket here. So I just have to put that out there. Wake
they
up ideas
actually,
right away.
you actually come and you sign a contract and you decide on the decision of what your percentage is going to be. It's like for instance, I had a friend, he got a nephew. The man is a contractor. Now, his nephew come and working with him, but he felt himself that he should be exempted from the workers. So what he
Mm.
did, He turned and said, okay, nephew, listen, today, me and you going to do a job. Just me and you. Now, the first thing he did, when he reached the job, he put in the back of his head that, oh, how much we doing this job for? The man
It's
said,
a 50
I said
50 he think,
2,000.
you know?
He said 2,000, right? Right away in his head, he pulled away from IZ nephew. I got to get 50% of the money.
Uh-huh.
Now remember, this man's a businessman. This man come to do a job just like he would do with everybody else is working with him.
Of
Now
course.
I supposed to come and pay you as a worker, car. When business comes around, they ain't got nothing to do with nephew. This is
No,
what I'm paying you to do. I'm
your
I'm
job.
giving you $200 a day to do to come and work with me for the entire day, right? But he feels to himself, nah, we doing this job. I got to be paid as 50%. It can't automatically just change like that. The man is a businessman and he works according to what his business, how his business structure is for that day. So the same way you come to a man that's doing that has a label and you sign, you go in with whatever it is that comes under that label. You understand me? Everybody's gonna be happy, and you also gotta be happy with what you decide on at the end of the day.
That
But like
is the
Malachi was
problem.
saying, like Malachi was saying before, banners don't like work hard because from the get go, people might be telling an artist, you could do this for yourself, you could do it alone,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But
That's the misconception right
why
there.
not get the artist to reach the stage where he could turn and say, no, I am at a certain stage where I think I could do this by myself now.
That is why of bat, I encourage people to go do it by yourself firstly.
Mm. So
But you know,
Understand?
you're gonna take a beating and a half. I
that's
can
what
tell
I'm
you
telling
straight
you.
up.
Go
You're gonna take
in,
a beating and a half.
go in, take your as you go through 1, 2, 3, whatever the time
Because
is, say, and
because
then eventually you say
mm,
it's like that man. Eventually, what them boxes, some of them boxes do eventually. After they had been going through a promoter, eventually they realize that okay, I have enough money that I could promote my own fight.
Yep.
And that's when that man start making the big bread. But they didn't look back and say, oh, I didn't know that all this money you didn't make it out for me. They already knew that, listen, yeah, the man gonna make so much money out of me. But when I get a chance that I reach a stage that I can do this, then I'm gonna say, okay,
but they don't understand is the person got the machinery to bring in the money. They think they're the ones who are the machinery. No, they're just the tool.
But that is the thing. I just call it incompetence. Because if you go look at me off bat and decide, well, oh, you gotta get half or bigger than what I supposed to get, then
Nah,
you stupid.
that ain't gonna work at
And
all.
I had this experience right in Guyana here, to one of my companies whereby we did an event and the guys was I paid everybody, for security, and my guys was looking at me like, I said, what happened? You ain't getting your money at the end of the month? Well, you need a bonus? No, you did your job.
You do your job.
The
You
same
give
thing
me,
you've been doing every day, my G. An
yeah.
event on hand ain't no different.
Different. You don't get a bonus every time an event come up. You walk in.
It's right, man. So we need to understand that we cannot remain incompetent. Yes, you could work and reach to the level that I am at, but then the sacrifice that you gotta put in, just like what I had to put in,
Exactly. That's what
you
I mentioned earlier.
losing in the long run.
Yep.
Because the time you're gonna take to reach to my level, I already surpassing what I was at, what you trying to be.
mm,
You understand? At no given time, I started YouTube. I was one of the first Guyanese personnel, vloggers, to do YouTube. Right? When I started vlogging my family, because I knew from a young age I wanted family, I wanted a big family. And whatever I'm doing, I need them to understand because I didn't grow up with a father. I need them to understand what not having a dad is like and what actually having a dad is like. So I videoed myself from since I was young, right? And my friends could tell you 2004, 2005. I used to buy them my phone and video, wherever we doing. You see? And I would take that video, put it on a flash drive, buy their computer and everything, edit it down and save it. Since 2004, 2005, I doing that. During the flood time and everything, I was doing all of that in the music business. You understand, man? We know about taking we spot from we bed and making, foam for the wall and these sort of things. And we have it on video. One of the only Guyanese to do it. And then when I moved to America, I did the same thing. Now I was in the mindset I'm doing it for my children so they could see my sacrifice. You see it, man? I didn't know that I would blow up on the internet, which I did. But then once I started making money and I started getting deep into the music business, I realized, hey, let me open a second channel because a lot of artists is coming to me, right? They're asking me to upload their music. I was doing it for free. I never charged them. You understand?
Yeah.
But I told them when I start making money, I'm going to break you off. I didn't say how much because I didn't know how much I was going to make. That was in the early my G. So I tell every single artist I can break them off a piece.
That was the time when YouTube didn't even tell you about monetization or you was getting paid for nothing.
Correct.
Sometimes it's freebie.
So when I started doing it, and artists realized, yo, this man making bread. When I actually got monetized, I let everybody know I am monetized. I am able to make money now. You know what artists decide to do? Guyanese artists say, yo, take me music down from there. Me want you upload me thing no more. Da. I said, all right, no problem. Because we had a verbal agreement. No problem. I can take down you sang them. And I did such. Anybody who requests to take down the music today would do the same thing. It has been 3 years since I haven't uploaded any music that I didn't personally own. The amount of money I just collect on a monthly basis, them Guyanese artists now who complain they now make no money, ask them how much views they got on the YouTube channel, how much subscribers they got, and if Google is sending in them check on a monthly basis.
Right.
We can't stay incompetent.
But,
and these are the international artists, mind you.
So, what, man? Listen, I still want to know, and you guys got to be a little more clear because I know a lot of guys, if they want to jump on the opportunities, what's the opportunity they have when it comes to Martain and Malachi? In the
They
sense
know
of,
the opportunity. If you continue,
know,
I'm gonna let you finish.
You gotta say something. How they can get on.
My bro,
to you guys,
we have been
guys have to. There's a fee. If there is a fee for the information, or if there's
fees will be discussed. Fees are discussed off here, and tailored to your personal needs.
Guarantee that you have to go through a certain platform and not their own, or if they have to pay a fee to get the information of how they can do their own, etc.
So yes, you have to pay a fee because obviously I spend me money going to school to learn what I telling you now, and we actually giving out the gems now, right? So yes, you have to pay a fee, right? It is not very hefty. I'm able to negotiate with different people. So you could come and we could get on a 15 minutes conversation or a 2 hours if you have enough bread, right? Yeah. So we could do that. To get in the business practice of things, it is mandatory that we sign NDAs, confidentiality contracts, contracts in general based on what we're doing this side. Whether it be verbally, I make sure I tell you, hey, I am recording this conversation, for my preference and for your preference, my security and yours, and I break down everything and let you know, yo, this is what we're doing, and whatever the case may be based on what you ask, right? Now, I don't just jump wholesale and help anybody and pick up the thing and do anything with it. No, I don't make no money from that. It won't benefit me in any way. I do give advice based on the situation for free sometimes, right? Um, but I tell everybody, and I would tell everybody, if you want to build a legacy in the music industry, call me. If you want to
Well,
build a name in the music industry, call me. If you want to stay stagnated, don't hit my line. You understand? This is why
I
I don't
know.
work with a lot of people. Everybody I would have worked with, artists could show you the EPK, the bios, the catalog of music that I would tailor. Because people got enough music. Natural Black would probably be the only person who know he got 16 albums. Where is it? But
let's ask the question.
I
Let's
could
ask the
tell you
question.
when natural albums there, who own them, how much
Yep.
songs there from each.
You
But
know,
if
well, let's.
he want access to this, Machi
No.
gotta pay for that. You
Mm-hmm,
understand me?
mm-hmm.
This is the
Ah,
importance of
So
having
you
me,
don't know
Malachi, in your
his
life.
old album might be Jaja.
Man, here I tell you, this is how the business go. This is the importance of having people like me in your life. People
yeah,
like Malachi in your life.
simple. Simple things, bro. I mean, no, in the music business, right? And this is a fact about the music industry. It's about contacts. It's
Mhm.
about who you know and who know you. All right. There's no if fans. There's no running around beating around the bush with certain aspects to the industry, right? And these are things we know. These are things we work on. So this is why, for example, you've asked us. You're like, "Hey, I see you guys flying here, flying there." That's part of the sacrifice, my bro, because you need to be in the rooms with the
Yep.
individuals that understand that business on an international scale, not a regional, not a local scale, but an international scale, because that's where you're trying to get to. That's where you're
Right.
trying to pull your artist to. And some of the things that are amazing to me, and even the guys from Hits and Jams mentioned it. They said, artists will have money to spend to go party and shows with the hardest outfits and everything, Gucci, Prada, whatever. But still, they would come out and they would creak about, oh, we got money to do this, we got money to market your music, we don't have money.
No, makes sense, man.
It doesn't come together,
Yeah.
and this again, as I was pointing out, in order for artists to really move forward, because music is a business and it's expensive business, you have to put yourself in a position where business people or investors would look at what it is that you're doing and come on board to invest in what it is that you're doing,
Mhm.
because you're going can't go in your pocket and get it done. This
There
is
was a
why.
time. Yeah, I know. Say what saying Malachi.
No, this is why a lot of artists, in like, for example, we were trying to set up a regime in Guyana where the studios, and again, it will go back to the laws, because really and truly, the artists are so, let's say, poor, right? They can't afford real studio time, bro. And 5,000 are always not real studio time. All right. We operate, for example, when we operate, we pay that money for the studio itself,
Mhm.
not the engineer, not the people who are playing the instruments, nothing at all. So if Guyanese artists go into a real production, for example, when myself and Martin decide, okay, we were going into production with an artist, we do it at several different levels, and those are some of the levels that I'm talking about. How much money you think we're spending
That's what I'm
to get
saying.
one song done? And these guys are on there, oh, we got money for this, we got money for that. I mean, come on.
Yo, the thing is, like I said, there was one artist that was on Broadway, somewhere close to where I work,
Yeah.
and the man was selling 3 of his songs to promote one of his songs that is really the song that he wanted to be promoted.
Yeah.
Right.
Genius.
So he said, "Well, no, no, no. For some reason, he doing whatever he's doing. He's trying to raise money to put off whatever, but he just trying to figure out means of raising that money. And he's selling that CD and selling those CDs and charging a $10. You asking for $10 donation on the CD. Listen to
Mhm.
my songs them.
Mm.
But I said, what really behind this? Because if you got 3 songs that ain't really bust yet, what really you do it? He said, bro, I really got something that is properly done. And I really want to try to put that. That's what I'm trying. But that one is not on this tape. I said,
Also,
you that's smart, man.
keep in mind that this man is the only person who's still selling albums. Because 3 songs could make up an album.
Correct.
So he could go and quantify this in the digital system to then get a gold plaque or a bronze plaque or a platinum plaque.
Yeah,
Or to
because
say,
he have evidence of physical copies.
yep, this could then get him when he dropped this song on the same project. I guarantee you, he's
On
gonna
the
drop
same
a
project.
4th song on the same thing and turn that into the official album.
Exactly.
Right? Now, each song that he giving out as a way song right now for $10, he getting capital for it, which is why I said genius. You making money. If you sell 10 albums a day, you don't have to work a 9 to 5. If you sell 5 albums a day at $10, you don't have to work a 9 to 5.
Nope.
No.
Right? So you're maximizing your time. If he's videoing it, I know them in New York. If you're videoing the process,
Yeah, I'm already
you're making money
doing
on social media, right? Now you're gonna turn that same last song that you actually raising money to promote
Mhm.
into the official album and the project with the same old song that the people them done here.
Yep, and done by.
That is now gonna propel the other 3 songs, the way song to the people for the 1 song. Because now he's still gonna go spend a ton of bread for promote the 1 song. Genius, Maji. This is why back in the days, and even now, big guys like Snoop Dogg and them man say, yo, they rather sell music out to the back of the trunk.
Yeah, because they seen every dollar though.
And the smartest way of changing the game was Nipsey Hussle, whereby he sold a CD on his t-shirt collar, right? Whereby he put the QR code at the back with the brand and the name and
No,
everything.
but that was the key, and still is the key. We
Yeah,
know
but
this.
I haven't
The
seen
key.
anybody else done this
No,
since.
well, you see what I think they have to understand is the levels to the thing, right? And it has been quite simplified now. I mean, you mightn't want to just create a free barcode. In that case, you want that kind of barcode for merchandising. You want it a little bit more secure. So you want to get something from that's that's a secure coding written. So we still haven't caught on those kind of things, because I think artists in Guyana, based on the fact that we ain't got no copyright, you could still sell your music, because I think everybody got a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
Right? And check this out. Even if I can't sell my music, I can market my music. Because I see
Yep.
a friend, hey, scan this barcode here, somebody. Blam. As soon as he scan it, 2 or 3 of me songs download.
Hmm.
You understand? Fast,
Now,
quick
I
ideas.
will actually, I
Ideas
cut
for
you,
them.
Malachi. I
Yeah.
would actually go and test this theory, right? Just to show that it could work. It's a working model, right? For
Yeah, it's a
Guyanese
working model. Yeah.
artists.
Yeah, it's a
Now,
working model.
we have Isam Benzi who got the Scunties clothing brand,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Or
Yeah.
we got Demrock who's doing clothing. And
Yeah.
this is, I'm giving free game again,
Yeah,
right? Free gems.
we giving them free game,
Use
because we want
these
everybody
people.
go.
Use these people as artists. Use these guys who's creating the clothing brand, right? Partner up with them. Whether you do 50-50 or whatever the case may be, figure it out. Partner up with these guys who got these clothing lines. Get your clothing, get these man for make your clothes with a barcode, right? It's testing until you fail. So you can learn it. So get these man to use the barcode, just like Nipsey Hussle did. Scan it to your music, right? Now you go and sell these same t-shirts on the streets, in border marketing, big marketing, wherever you're there. Sell them t-shirts, right? Let's say it costs $20 to make a t-shirt. You sell it for $30, $40, $50, right? get your cap, sell it. Get your jeans or whatever, sell it for your price. Now you're selling your music plus you're selling your clothes at the same time.
At the
You
same
could
time.
then because the clothing would be deemed an album because it's a physical.
Exactly.
You side man. So you could go and sell them on the clothes. Now you could tell anybody, yo, I just sell 10,000 t-shirts.
Yep.
I sell 50,000 albums.
Mm-hmm.
You side man. This is a working theory. I could go and use it. The
Yep.
first person who actually make it work, I can actually put y'all on game to complete that system on how
Yeah,
to get
again,
your Grammys and your plaques and your things there.
we got several more we got several levels to the game still to go. You understand?
Why you think I just rack my own brand? And if I don't, there's something plain. Because when I ready to put my brand online, which is why my children are named high rollers, it's in the name, it's in the DNA. When I ready to put them and myself online, come on, man. Ain't nobody gonna play it, me, my G.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, our brand is going. Look, this is how you know that you have a very strong brand, right? When I started radio, the first initial name for my program is the name of my program today, which is the Rush Hour. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and over the years, I have seen no less than 10 other rush
Shower.
rush hours. The lunchtime rush hour, the morning rush hour. It's just a little tweet in it that changes it from the rush hour to something else. But it includes the rush hour, Russian hour, right?
Hmm.
And I'm like, what happened? They couldn't come up with another one? I mean,
How?
I know the rush hour is in other places, other regions of the world, right? But if we did understand IP, they would understand that hey, if he's using the rush hour um
Region.
in this region, you can't go use
Can do
that
the
back.
same thing.
You can't do the same thing. Bro, it is so immature and dumb and looks so unprofessional and
Mm,
like without thought. It's like you couldn't think about another name, and I could possibly think up of quite a few other names that
of course.
radio programs in Guyana could have names. So why it gotta be the Rush Hour? And somebody started that over what 20 odd years back. Come on, and still holding it.
Anyway, guys, so I gotta make a turn now. I mean, I know this is what we're going into 3 hours already.
Pretty much, yes.
No, yeah, pretty much. It's
A
not
little,
15 minutes to the top of the hour. We're gonna take it all the
yeah.
way to the top of the hour.
I
But
know we
just
got a lot. We got a lot to discuss, man. Because definitely there's so many things that needs to be touched on.
yeah,
Um, I would be happy for you guys to start getting a little more intense into the business of letting guys know that because this is a different audience sometimes from in the morning audience, and
Mhm.
if you can get guys to know directly how to make contact with what was the industry that we going through, gems or eye rollers?
So there's several. That's the thing. Based on your
several.
preference, whatever you want. If you are marketing, you go to one company. But once you come to we, for instance, on the bottom of the screen,
Right.
right? Right now, if you hit that email that's scrolling past on the bottom of the screen, you can get any one of us. You
Correct.
Yeah,
send in your request. Let we know what you want to do. And we're
yeah,
gonna tailor your request to various companies because there's several companies that we work with or we work or manage directly.
Right.
hmm
So we are pretty much the gods in the industry. I want to shoot, but
I mean, when it comes to the actual industry structure aspect of it, I mean, Martin and I, fortunately, I think it's because of our persistence and perseverance in this particular
No,
field.
you guys have been very much educating yourself, not just by reading. I know you guys have been attending a lot of seminars, workshops.
Yeah,
You guys have been traveling. That's the big part. Being
Mm-hmm.
traveling and listening to so many folks in different cultures and
yeah,
music industry,
yeah.
important people that is on the radio, some people that's on the production and all these different
Lawyers,
lawyers and
very
all these,
important. Yeah.
right. Most recently you guys actually capitalize on what's in Guyana that a lot of people maybe did not even know fly past and God, you know.
Of course, they're gonna
So
see it aired on one of the platforms.
Mhm.
the thing is you know, after having all these knowledge and knowing the advantages and disadvantages of what's going on, you know what I mean? It's only fear that someone, like I said, like we said earlier, it's better you wanna say, oh, I'm gonna do it on my own. Yes, but get into the whole dealing, get the knowledge of what's going on, you know what I mean? Go through the whole thing, and then eventually if you decide that after you make so much money, you can just jump on your stuff yourself. Any any um any person that did business with you that realized that you come to them respectfully and say, listen, yeah man, it was good working with you. I think that I'm capable enough to do it on my own. Would be
You would
happy to
always
take,
get his support, of course.
yeah, would be happy to support you, and at the same time, if possible, if you did not or you need some help still in the certain areas,
But
we'll still be there and ready to work with you. You know what I
of
mean?
course,
Hmm.
Sherwin, of course, Sherwin, that's a far-fetched reality, especially if they're climbing the ladder in the
Correct.
industry. That is going to be a no-no because if you're going to climb the ladder, that means your focal point will be on the actual product, the
Right.
music, and you ain't got time to handle nothing else. So you would still need to have that structure around you to
Correct.
assist you. So
So
once we understand, especially the younger artists coming up, once they understand that there's a point you can take yourself to, but then after that point, you definitely
you
need
need
that
the next
pyramid
ladder.
exactly to
Hmm.
help you to move up that ladder.
Hmm.
And it trust
So
me, it's not rocket science and it's not difficult.
necessarily, right? And altogether, artists should stick with artists, right?
Mhm.
Radio personalities stick with them. DJs stick like every. It should be a fraternity. It
Exactly.
exists for a reason, right?
Hmm.
In your area of expertise, you should work mostly at least 90% of people in that same area, right? This is why when you go certain places, especially in people in countries that actually practice business, you can do hair, right? Or makeup. And then let's say you're a client and you come for your hair get done, right? And
Hmm.
I didn't do it good, but you gone over to the next shop and you gonna talk bad but me, but that person that you talking bad but me know that they learned from me. It's kind of impossible to me to collect your money and support you for your next
Yeah,
business, eh?
yeah,
Knowing that I just learned from that person. You understand? But in
Hmm.
Guyana culture, we want to do everything ourselves. We want to be artists, we want to be DJs, we want to be graphic designers, we want to be this. We pretty much want to be concert promoters, even.
Hmm.
You understand? Outside of Guyana is where our business blow up,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is where our business is being supported mostly.
Hmm.
I won't say not by Guyanese, but a lot of Guyanese support our business, but they're not in Guyana.
No,
You
they're not.
understand me? It's the
They're
people
not.
on the ground who got the issue.
Hmm.
Because Trini support my music culture and my radio journey and everything else more than anybody else.
Trinidad,
They got Antigua,
Grenadians,
Barbados.
Antigua, Barbados. I mean, everybody is in full Canadians, Americans, English, Finland, Australia,
These people support more than
support.
we own Guyanese people.
Yeah,
So when people say you got dance yard before dance, Brad, here's what my guy in a Brad.
yeah.
I got in a
Because,
Brad. Because them people fascinated
hmm
about the yard. And I
and
walk with me yard on me back.
exactly, because nobody. I know that I know you mentioned patriotism earlier, Sherwin, but a lot of them when they talk about patriotism, right? They're talking about patriotism from the standpoint of, oh, I want to be in the Guyanese community only, bigging up Guyana, Guyana, Guyana. Try to take that outside of the community like we do, because we are not exactly in the Guyanese community doing our programs. Our
right.
programs are always outside of the Guyanese
I mean, I
community.
always
But
ask the question, and Malachi said, "Boy, you don't know." I said, Malachi, but this program got so many connections, and you telling me they are one man and sit down and say, "Boy, you know, I gotta go talk to these men. I want to put them minutes on my on the start for me. For some
But
reason,
G,
in
Guyana,
in
envious,
Guyana itself, I would
bad
like to tell
mind,
them, bro, hold on. And I Malcolm said, "Bye, you don't know." That's that's how you start.
greed, envy, jealousy, and bad mind is a bad thing, my G.
yeah,
Yes, I
bad
it's
thing.
like when I wanted to get into the podcasting and broadcasting general space, I know I grew up on Malachi. Now, if Malachi didn't put me on radio, I would have probably gone to Malcolm Ferrero, because this is another guy, or Stan Gavayo. These are the guys I grew up listening to. But outside
Hmm
of my Guyana community, I have nobody else to turn to. I would have ended up in a radio on a radio station in Miami preaching a culture that nobody ain't gonna respect and nobody ain't gonna care about. You
Right.
understand me? So I know what I have to become Americanized with my thing.
Yeah,
But fortunately for me, Malachi got a program whereby he allowed me to come on, right? He
right,
gave me the opportunity to mentor. Yes, right? And I just I love no better than to suck up everything he preach. You
yeah,
understand me? Obviously, I go for the right things, and to date that I know him, he never steered me down the wrong road, whether it be personal or business.
correct.
And now I'm able to work directly with you. I could learn radio production more. I'm able to
Right.
tell people, yo, we got radio station in New York, Maji, terrestrial and internet. You
Yeah,
understand me? How much other
Jubilee.
Guyanese could don't do the
You
same
can
thing?
tell them why, yo, we gonna perform this interview in New York. Soon as
Yeah.
you get to
Pull
whatever
up to the
studio,
studio.
it's how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You see, one of the things that we as a community have to understand, and I think now that a lot of the bickering and acrimony has kind of subsided in the community, um, people are looking at things more, in my estimation, from a clear perspective or a clear head, and it says to them, listen, if we've been trying this stuff for years and it ain't working, we definitely have to
Mm-hmm.
look at a new strategy for real. And
Yep.
not that we're not coming out here and trying to sell a dream and saying we've got the ultimate strategy, because obviously there's no ultimate strategy. But if we implement certain things, certain plans and ideas, those things can possibly, based on the trajectory, it can possibly bloom into exactly what it is that we're looking for.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Well,
Because, go ahead, Martin.
no, I was going to say we actually got the ultimate strategy. If everybody know me, I am currently in Guyana, and I still write down my strategies. So
Yeah,
we got the blueprints on
we
how to
got
move forward
blueprints.
in life.
We have
Yes,
several
I man.
blueprints on how to move the things.
Well, I
Several of them.
learning every day because you guys are very. I mean, you guys are very well informed in the sense of so many things behind the whole or in the backgrounds. That is
Yeah.
very important. And you know, I I actually wasn't or never used to do radio. When I started doing radio, I ended up in the sense of, it's just something where you come and you do a program. It's all about you garnish as much sponsorship for your program, and when you finish, you wherever you get from the interview. But most of all, the whole thing is all about the attraction that you create for
Mhm.
yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now sitting and having the whole being actually educated, I should say, or being informed properly, that you can capitalize on almost everything that you do.
Hmm.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can capitalize on the amount of music you play. You can capitalize on your words. You can capitalize on your videos, your streaming, everything.
Hmm.
You
Now,
looks like me.
right now, even with this, it can be your brand on your branding that you're doing, whatever, everything you can capitalize on. The whole
Exactly. Your
Mm-hmm.
entire image is your brand.
exactly. Now you sitting there. Now you got to sit down and say, with all this, you think I get enough time to do that? I need help, and that's where,
Here why you
in
need
my
serious help.
sense, I know that I have to figure what, who, and who to put together to get all this done. Because if even I am speaking and having a panel discussion with Martin. If I call Martin tomorrow and say, bro, I'm interested in this, I'm going to payment because I'm telling you straight up, yo, bro, no, no, no. You got to tell me what's your fee. Because at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, I want to make sure that, you know, when
It's
he's
done.
finished
It's
with all
done
of that,
right. It's
when
done
I
right.
start blooming and kicking, he mustn't tell me, by you gotta set tongue to me. No, 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 no. You got paid.
Yeah.
You understand me? You
Exactly.
get
You
paid.
get paid.
So when I collect my bread big time, you charge me $10. Keep your $10. You take
You're not
everything you need.
obligated to look back and give anything else.
Nope.
Exactly.
That is
Nope.
what we Guyanese people don't understand. We always want to, he make it? Nah, he make it out for me strength.
Uh-huh.
I deserve a percentage of that.
No, these
And
banners
sometimes
just
I deserve all of that.
these guys are just simply like when you're like I said, it's a delusionary type of thinking where you feel you're entitled to something that you're not obviously not entitled to,
Right.
right?
Right.
We got a lot of individuals in Guyana gotta get rid of the mindset. I just attain the mindset to the rice. Remember, I always talk about this rice and the mindset, Maji. It is attainable to the rice. Rice is a serious man.
You
Yeah.
know, Malachi, I know if you even know this, Sherwin. Malachi, when we started working, he said, yo, I want you to take over the production aspect of things, so you could control the shows in the morning and so on. And I told him, Malachi, I said, nobody. Here's why. If I do this, I mean, one, I gonna outshine you, right? Because I got a little more ambition and drive. Because remember, I believe in, and Malachi too believe in this. If he stop here, then I must start right above. So this is he ceiling, and this is me flooring,
Right. Right.
right? So you're able to learn and develop fast and better at this capacity.
Right.
Excitement. So when he tell me take over, I said nah. Because I realized when I reach to that level, I need somebody else also who's gonna start where I stopping or where I slowing down.
Correct.
Decide, man. So currently, and this is how you expand the team. Currently, we're looking for people who want to get on radio, who want to join the broadcasting field, whether it be radio or television, right? Once you're serious about it, we have a space for you. Obviously, don't come and do exactly what you're doing. It don't make sense.
Right.
You understand me? Don't come and do exactly what Malachi doing or what you doing, Sherwin. It wouldn't make sense. If you come with something different, a different energy, a a different insight than what I have or what you have, then of course you're gonna fit the team perfectly.
Exactly.
We need to understand this. Copying or in we cases plagiarizing, it don't work out. You learn this in school, or you should have learned this in school. You see it, man. But we ain't gonna keep it longer, Sherwin.
Yeah,
Of course,
definitely.
Malachi dropped out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I want says it's GPL because I still got light. But something happened. Make he come out. Probably his phone died or whatever the case may be. Nevertheless,
Most
we're on
definitely.
the hour. We're
Most
past the hour.
definitely. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Most definitely. We want to say thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us. Like, we always appreciate your presence. You always appreciate the guys that normally comes in and give a little comment here and there. Um, but most of all, the whole thing is all about, we will the conversation comes around with normally things that comes off the top of the head sometimes, but most
Mm-hmm.
important, we need to l- listen to the information, the detailed information whenever it pops up within the conversation, so that you wouldn't remember everything. And you know people got to stop coming off of this stereotype or this kind of stigma of who said don't want you want the kind of thing. That thing got to come off. You got to experience stuff for yourself, because a lot of times it can be
Yes.
misleading, and it can actually hold you back
Yes.
from so many things, because that individual does not want you to get to the place where you might know something or get above or ahead of them because of what you might get from, or what you might grasp from what you're trying to get into. You know what I mean? And these guys are saying straight up, you know, come get exactly what it is that they're dealing with. It comes with a fee. As long as it comes with a fee, that means you have to agree. You both guys gotta agree to something, and with that agreement, you can hold them to their contract
To the
or
word,
to
of
the
course.
agreement, to the word, and at the same time, you know, they hold you to your signature straight.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing is dealing with stuff in that type of way, so that you can actually, you know, get things right. We can get things right,
Period.
and business is business, man. Get on to doing some stuff. Get on to getting yourself involved, like everybody else. All the artists in all different other countries is capitalizing on who they know for sure can help them along that way. And if you get in that type
Mm-hmm.
of help from your very own, just make sure you capitalize, guys.
Yes. Malachi, since you're back, any last words?
Uh, well, the most I could say is, perseverance is key. With this whole, you got to be persistent and consistent. So work hard, produce good music. That's for the artists. For the creatives, we really need to have a focus on, uh, you know, um, how we are represented to the legislators, and also we need more advocacy for IPs, because
Mm-hmm.
as we see, even the U.S. Government is now getting involved, because as we know, if we're going to move, as we says, to Little Dubai, we've got to have certain things as laws that will allow investors to come in, and those laws also, are governed with under IP. So we really need to have a full restructuring and upgrade in the education regarding that.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Um, since we're in April, World Intellectual Property Rights Day
Yeah.
is officially Friday, April 26th. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We do plan to have some more intellectuals on the panel as we lead up to World Intellectual Property Rights Day.
Yeah.
Right. Probably have some lawyers, some professors, and so on, especially
Mm-hmm.
from Guyana, right? Who could speak on, their experience and their knowledge of intellectual property rights. Hopefully we get one of them same foreigners that we would have met and
Yeah.
get the ball rolling. It's right.
Yep.
Sherwin, if you don't mind, go ahead and read out the disclaimer. Let the people know
Disclaimer.
that I didn't talking about them. It was just me opinion.
Okay, guys, the views, information, or opinion expressed during this program are solely those of the host, guest, callers involved in the program, and do not necessarily represent the views of Majestic Music Radio, its management, or the host or advertisers. Put it as that. Majestic Music Radio is not responsible and does not verify the accuracy of any of the information contained in this radio program. This program does not constitute medical or professional advice and is solely for entertainment purposes only. Okay? So,
All
guys,
right.
we fully clear on that part of it. Just
And
making
of
sure,
course,
guys.
don't forget to contact us. The email address is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Contact us for any info that you
Mm-hmm.
need. Certain bits of info, of course, you're gonna have. There's there's added, there's a consultancy fee to that. So
Yeah,
get in contact with us, and hey, we're here for you. Hope you
bro,
have a
when you out
blessed.
here, consultancy free, listen, not because you hear a word like that, it sounds sophisticated, it means a lot of money. Information is power.
Well,
Information is
people
power.
afraid of the word budget, Maji.
Yeah.
No.
People is afraid of the word budget. I've done
If
business with
you
people and
gotta
ask, what is your
pay,
budget?
if you gotta pay for information, information is what makes you powerful.
Just like how natural black saying, they talk
Mm-hmm.
about me budget low. Me budget low is just so. You can't sing in them things because even the artists crying now that you can't call me and tell me, but
A
I want
man
to
with
hold a show over my
information,
budget low.
a man with information would make money within a click over a man that
Yep.
has some money to invest that he can just keep spending, going to who said, them said, that said, oh, you should try so, and the money done.
Hmm.
If you gotta come direct to the source and just pay one money and say, I need to know this, and you get it, you
Hmm.
save tons of bread
Yes,
one
sir.
time. You
Well, we
Yes,
know,
understand?
we
sir.
know, we know for a fact we have saved a lot of people because since we started the campaign of educating just the basic registration. I mean, we talked about a major artist earlier from Guyana with how much he albums? 16 albums out there. And it's the other day. It's the other day the whole registration process kick in because if it had kicked in from the beginning, he would have made a whole heap of money by now. You understand? By now. So it's experience teach wisdom, bro. You
Exactly.
know,
Yes,
you
sir.
know.
All right.
All right.
On the wrap.
So yeah, man, definitely we'll be back here next week. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
always chatting with you
Yes.
guys.
And like
Most
Martin said,
definitely.
we can try to bring some experts on board as well. Okay, and make sure you check out tomorrow's show. We do on the WW.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. Whether
Early
you
morning.
use in the morning from 8 to 11, whether you're using your waistline to wine or you're grabbing yourself a glass of wine, it's still WW, right? Wednesday wine.
Yeah. Just get onto the link, man. www.majesticmusicradio.com.
Yep.
www.majesticmusicradio.com. And you just make sure you get in. You can actually listen from any type of device. Or if you want to download, just download from the App Store or Google Play Store. and you also can listen from TuneIn Radio. Okay,
Yep.
Mhm.
definitely on TuneIn Radio you can actually listen, you can actually view, and also comment, conversation, have a conversation with the guys as they go through, because they will be on live having a conversation with you in the midst of all the Wednesday wine.
Yes, sir.
Honest.
You already know on
Well,
the wrap up 30 minutes after the hour.
yep.
All right. My name is Martin Al-Ameen, the cute guy behind in front of the cameras these days. I gotta get them some skills I learn. Right. Um yes,
You
30
gotta,
minutes after the hour.
yeah, you got a top line. You gotta actually catch line. Oh yeah, yeah, catch
That's
line.
it. That's it.
I know,
30
Malachi.
minutes after the hour. My name is Martin Al-Ameen, the cute guy behind in front of the You ain't see how I look. Tell me when you have ever seen me come out looking like a regular.
Money man look like a dangles.
This is the cute guy behind the camera. Yeah,
I
man.
got ambitions in this life here.
This is my slogan. This is my slogan for long G. But my one is follow me on all social media platforms. That's Malachi. That's on Facebook and YouTube. On IG, it's KWESIGILB. You can drop your comments. Follow us. That's on +592-641-0945 or +305-713-8595. Those are the numbers to hit us up. Give us your ideas
Mhm.
and your thoughts. You know what I mean? And you can hit us up fast. Also, remember the email address info@majesticradio@gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
And
Selecta Sherwin, man. You know what it is.
Yep, yep.
Every time.
Good night,
just a
everybody.
reminder, the official conversation pages is up on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So make sure y'all gonna follow. Every Tuesdays we're live from 7 to
Twitch.
10.
Don't
This site
forget
where we have
Twitch.
Twitch also running. Make
Yeah.
sure y'all go follow us. Keep the conversation going. Let me know what happened with y'all live so we could come back and tell y'all we're going on with the business and everything. We just start enough music, right? But at some point we can jump into politics and
Yes,
relationship
yes.
also.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
Guys,
Bless.
it's a pleasure as always, man.
Yeah, man.
Always.
Respect. Bless up.